welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more awesome content. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Demon Slayer, but with a twist. We're taking a look at one of the most unpredictable and fan-favorite characters, Inosuke Hashibira. Forget the wild charges and the constant challenges for a moment, because this story is going to unravel a complete different kind of strength within the boar-headed friend. So grab your favorite snacks, get comfortable, and let's jump into the Crystalline Chime, Inosuke's unseen journey. The scent of pine and wet earth clung into the air, a familiar comfort to Inosuke. He moved through the forest, not with a hunter's stealth, but with a boar's relentless charge, crashing through the underbrush and sending small animals scattering. His boar mask, a second skin, was his truest face, and beneath it, his wild eyes scanned the canopy, searching not for a demon, but for something else. A flicker of movement, a rustle of leaves that was not wind, not animal. He had been tracking it for 3 days. Not a demon, for it left no lingering stench of blood or corruption. Not an animal, for it moved with unnatural, almost ethereal grace. It was a sound, a faint crystalline chime that echoed in the quiet parts of his mind. A sound that made the hairs on his arms prickle with a strange unease. A call to him, a challenge unlike any he had ever faced. A challenge not of strength or speed, but of something else. He wasn't sure what. The trail led him to a clearing, bathed in the soft, bruised light of a fading afternoon. In the center stood a single, gnarled cherry tree, its branches skeletal and bare, and beneath it, a figure. Not a demon, not a human, but a creature of shadow and light. It had no face he could discern, only a shifting vortex of starlight and swirling mist. Its form was slender, and from the outstretched hand, a single, delicate flower made of pure crystalline ice bloomed and withered in an instant. The sound of its blooming, the same chime that had haunted his dreams. Inosuke's swords were out in an instant, their chipped blades glinting in the pale light. He let out a battle cry, the sound a raw, guttural challenge. "Fight me, you bastard!" The creature did not move, it simply tilted its head, and the swirling mist of its face seemed to focus on him. A whisper, not with a voice, but with the air itself, brushed against his mind. Why? Inosuke faltered. Why? The question was a foreign concept to him. He fought because that's what he did. He fought to be the strongest. He fought to survive. He fought because the world was full of things that needed to be cut. But this thing didn't feel like it needed to be cut. It felt like a riddle. He charged anyway, a flurry of unique, wild-style sword strikes, each one aimed at the heart of the swirling light. His blades, which had cleaved through the toughest demon flesh, passed through the creature as if it were nothing but smoke. The chime grew louder, a mournful, echoing melody. He was a hurricane of frustration and fury, his every strike an exercise in fertility. He finally collapsed, gasping for air, his muscles screaming. The creature remained unmoved, its head still tilted. Another whisper, this one clearer. "What are you looking for?" Inosuke's breath hitched. What was he looking for? He had never considered it. The question felt like a blade in his gut, but it didn't hurt. It just confused him. He had always been so sure of himself, the strongest, the one who would fight his way to the top. But this creature, it was a blank wall he couldn't break. The swirling mist of the creature's face condensed, and for the first time, a shape began to form. Not a face, but something like a memory, a fleeting image of a small child alone in the snow-covered forest. A lone wild boar watching over it. The image faded as quickly as it came, replaced by the swirling starlight. What was that? Inosuke rasped, his voice raw with a sudden, uncharacteristic vulnerability. The creature didn't answer with words. Instead, It reached out a hand of shimmering light, and from it bloomed another crystalline flower. This one did not wither, it floated towards Inosuke. The sound of its chime a soft, gentle lullaby. He stared at it, his wild eyes wide. He didn't reach for it. He didn't try to smash it. He just watched. The flower came to rest on the chipped tip of his blade, its delicate form in a stark contrast to the brutal instrument of death. And as it rested there, a warmth spread from his sword, through his arms and into his chest. It wasn't the warmth of the fire or a sun. It was the warmth of a memory he didn't know he had. A memory of a mother's touch, of a voice that sang to him in a language he didn't understand, but which he felt in his very bones, a memory of being found, not by a demon, but by a family. The creature's hand of light withdrew. The mist of its form began to dissipate, and the chime, which had been a haunting challenge, now sounded like a farewell. The last vestiges of the swirling light formed into a single perfect snowflake that drifted down and settled on the ground. Then it was gone. Inosuke stood alone in the clearing. The setting sun painted the sky in fiery streaks of orange and purple. The crystalline flower on its blade shimmered, the light from it not reflecting the sun, but seeming to hold its own inner light. He didn't know what the creature was, a guardian, a memory maker. He didn't care. He looked at the flower, then at his hands, calloused and scarred from the 1,000 battles. And for the first time in his life, Inosuke Hashibira felt not the urge to fight, but the quiet, unsettling, and utterly intriguing feeling of peace. He had found something he hadn't known he was looking for, and the fight that had brought him here had been a prelude to a discovery far more powerful than any victory. He didn't know what to do with this feeling, but he knew one thing. He couldn't go back to just fighting. Not yet. Not while the quiet mystery of the flower still sat on his blade. A reminder that the world was more than just a place to be conquered, and he had to find out what else was out there. He had to know what other things could make him feel like this. His next journey had just begun. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this unique take on Inosuke's journey and want to see more original stories like this, I have something else you will love. Click on the video on your screen right now to watch another unique story. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about the Crystalline Chime. See you in the next video.